So this is how you're going to set up your alphabet poster. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your drive. You want to make sure that your photography folder in your ABCs are nice and organized. So if you did not do that, just be sure to go through your images, make sure that they're clear, and rename them accordingly. If you've already done that, you're in great shape. So you're going to open up a new tab and we're going to go to photop.com. Make sure that the account tab is yellow. That means that you're signed in. If not, you can sign in now. To set up your new project, click on New Project on the center of the screen. Label this ABC poster or alphabet poster. That's up to you. Very important that you change pixels to inches. And we are going to make the width 8 by 14. The PI is also very important. You want to make sure that that is on 300. You can leave the background as white or you can change it to transparent. That's totally up to you. I'm going to leave mine white. Click on Create and you should have a nice long rectangle. If yours looks more like this, chances are you did not change your inches to pixels. So if you need to go back, make sure that you make those changes. The reason that we're making this 8 by 14 is we're going to insert 2 by 2 cropped images of our letters. So to insert our first letter, I'm going to go to File, Open. And now you should have access to your drive along this side. So you will go to your drive, you will go to your photography folder, and then you will find the letters. So for the sake of this assignment, I've just downloaded it. I'm going to open up the letter A. That's going to open in a separate window. So as you could see along the top, just like we were using the internet, we have different tabs. We can bounce back and forth. So right now I have the letter A open that I photographed. We want to get this down to a square that is 2 by 2 and get rid of all of this excess space. If your image is a portrait view, that's fine. We will talk about that in some of the next examples. I'm going to go to the left-hand side, click on Crop Tool. When I do that, there are a few different options along the top. The one that we're going to change is free. We're going to switch that to fixed size. Now, in this program, unfortunately, we can't use inches for this. We're going to actually use pixels. So we're going to change it to 600, 600. That's going to equal 2 inches. When I do that down here, I get a square. And what's great about this, it's going to keep it in a square. And regardless of what I decide to keep, it's going to make that square 600 by 600. So once I'm happy with the selected area, and if your letters maybe go off the page, that's fine too. We're going to make it work. We could also rephotograph. So if you do not like how your letters turned out, you will have the opportunity to fix that. I'm going to click on the check mark. And when I do that, it's going to shrink it down and remove all of that excess. The next thing I'm going to do is either go to Edit Copy. We're going to go to Edit. Nope, we're going to go to Select All. So on your keyboard, it's Control A, and that will select all. Control C is to copy. To go back to your alphabet poster, which is right along the top, Control V, you will paste. Very important, when you paste, you should get a new layer and your background layer should be locked. We're going to go to that Move tool, that arrow on the top. We are going to take that arrow. We're going to bring our letter A to the top left corner. And as you can see, which is pretty cool, it snaps to the side. Once that letter A is inserted, you are going to double click on Layer, change the name to A, and click on Lock. We do not want this to move. We want to keep it as is. We don't want to mess around with it too much. So let's add in the letter B. So we're going to go A, B, C, D. E is going to start underneath. I'm going to go back to this A. I'm going to X out of that. It's unsaved. That's totally fine. So let's start over again. File, open. On the left-hand side, you'll have access to your drive, your photography folder, and your alphabet photos. So here is the letter B. I'm going to go to crop, change free to fixed size, 600, 600. When I get my bounding box, I am going to try my best to fit this letter B in that square. And I'm actually going to rotate this after I crop it down. So I'm going to hit that check mark. I now have it cropped down. I'm going to go to Image, Transform, and you have a few different options of rotating 90 degrees clockwise to the right, 90 degrees counterclockwise to the left, 180 is entirely upside down, and vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to rotate, and sometimes it takes me a few tries to figure out the right direction. That's okay. If you need to go back, Control Z will undo, or Edit, undo. So I'm happy with this. Same thing again. Control A, you'll get that dotted line around the outside that everything is selected. Control C to copy, back to our poster, Control V to paste. Click on that move tool. I'm going to make sure that I'm right next to my letter A, and if you need to zoom in to make sure you can, it should snap right to it. Label that B and lock it. The reason we're going to label is if you add additional letters to test things and see how they look. So let's add one more. File, let's close up the letter B before we do anything. File, open, letter E. Okay, crop tool, free to fix size, 600, 600. I'm going to crop. And for this example, the reason I picked it is it actually cuts out part of this. I wouldn't worry too much about it. We want to get the gist of that letter, and we can reconfigure as we need to. So I'm going to zoom in slightly. I'm going to rotate this back, and let's say I want more of this space on the top. This is a little too tight for the top, so I'm going to go to Image, Transform, and I'm going to flip it vertically. So I like this. I think this looks more like the letter E. So Control A, Control C, back to our poster, Control V, back to that move tool, and moving it right underneath the letter A. So work your way through the alphabet. Be sure to label and be sure to lock as you're working, and your alphabet should come together. For today, you should get about halfway through. If not, that's totally fine. Even a third of the way works. You'll have plenty of time to finish up this poster. If you have any questions, just comment on Google Classroom, shoot me an email, or send me a message on Remind.